Problems 28, 29, and 30 all have to do with graphing on the Algebra 2 Mastery Test. In order to graph a line, if you have it written in the form y equals mx plus b, so you have it solved for y, where there's no coefficient, just a plain y, equals 2, then the number that's in front of the x, for example here, the negative 1/4 is the slope, and the constant to the right is going to be the y-intercept. So you're going to begin by first putting your y-intercept on the y-axis. So this is my y-axis here. So make sure you didn't put it on the x, but you put it on the y instead. Then we're going to use our slope, negative 1/4, and we'll need to put the negative either on the top or bottom. I tend to always go with the top, so I'm going to make it negative 1/4. So remember, the top number tells us how far up or down we go, and since it's negative, we're going to go down 1 and then right 4 as a result here. So from my 1 here, I'm going to go down 1 and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 and make a point, and then repeat that. Down 1 to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can kind of do a few points, but this one be up 1 and back 1, 2, 3, 4, also negative. And then you'll connect that and make your line right there through those points. So go all the way to the edges. All right, so now what about when we don't have it solved for y? Then we'll need to first solve it for y. This isn't in the correct form yet in order to graph. So I'm going to solve it for y. So if I were to subtract 2x from both sides, then that will leave me with, I still have that negative sign, negative y is equal to negative 2x and a plus 6. So careful with the signs. If there's a negative here, then it's going to stay there. Now I want to have a positive y, so I'm going to distribute a negative 1 through here, and that will give me a positive y is equal to a positive 2x and a minus 6. So make sure that you apply it to all the different terms there on that. So now I'm ready to graph. I have a y-intercept of negative 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So put my y-intercept on the y-axis at negative 6. And then my slope is 2, and that means that it's going to be 2 over 1. I need to make a fraction out of it. So 2 over 1. So that means that I'm going to go up 2 and then right 1 to plot our next point. So from our y-intercept, I'm going to go up 1, 2, and to the right 1, up 1, 2, to the right 1, up 1, 2, and to the right 1. And then I will connect those carefully. Didn't do so carefully, but and make my line right there. All right, so for 30 here, I have 3x plus y is negative 4, x minus y is 0. I am supposed to solve this system, so these two equations, by graphing and give your answer in ordered pair form. So that means that I'm going to first graph the first line, and then I'll graph the second line, and I'll put them both over here on this graph, and I'm going to look for where they intersect. So what I would like for you to do right now is go ahead and change both of these to y equals form, and then graph them, and then start the video and compare it to what I've done. So stop right now, give it a try, and let's see how you're graphing. Okay, so here's the first one. Notice how I've continued to dot all the way up and down, because it's going to be important that our two lines intersect in exactly the same point. So I've gone ahead and been careful that I've marked all those, because sometimes we can make a careless mistake sketching our line, and then we assume that the place where it crossed was the answer, when indeed you were careless and didn't get it right. So now graph the other line. So this equation becomes y is equal to x. And so when you notice that we don't have a constant over here, so that means that the y-intercept is 0. So I'll put my 0 right here. And the slope is 1. So that's going to be as a fraction 1 over 1. So the the coefficient of x is an understood 1 right there, so 1 over 1. So up 1, right 1. So here you can see I went up 1, right 1 a bunch of times, and then down 1, back 1. And you can see there's that point where they intersect. So then if I were to go ahead and finish this line out, I have this here, and this is my solution. So the ordered pair would be x is -1, and y is also -1. So that appears to be my answer. I'm pretty sure about it. But make sure that you put your x first and your y second. Now, the nice thing about these is you can double check it. So put your x in right there here as -1. So that gives me -3. And then y is -1. So -3, -1 is -4. Check. -1 minus the -1. So -1 plus 1 is 0. Check. You can check and make sure that your answers are correct. All right. Good luck on those.